The resume peer review is an assignment that I think requires a little bit more guidance on because there are so many moving parts. So here is this video to help you with navigating the assignment, finding where things are, and just reiterating some of the instructions. So you will find the resume peer review in the Unit 1 folder, resume peer review, and here it is. So what I'm asking you to do is this. I want you to review your partner's resume using the resume checklist that's attached. I want you to return their resume with the review checklist, with the resume checklist. And then also, based on your partner's response back to you, I want you to make changes to your resume. So there will be three things that you submit with this assignment. One is the copy of the resume that you reviewed. Two, the resume checklist that you use to critique the other resume. And then the last thing is your resume that's polished based on the response and feedback that you got from your reviewer. So there'll be three things that you submit there. The grade that I assign you will be based on your polished review. I need those other documents, but the grade that I'm using the material that I'm using to assign your grade is the rubric that is for your resume, only after you have made the changes. So it'd be a good idea to solicit feedback from your partner as soon as you can. That way you can make the changes in order to turn the assignment in on time. There are some resources that you can use in the resume content area, so please do use those, and you can see your partner list once you go to the assignment on Blackboard. I want to show you the resume peer review checklist, and it's a locked version, meaning that the cells are locked except for what you can unlock in order to make the comments that you have for the feedback. So when you open yours, it will open up into an Excel document. And we want to enable editing. Now, you won't be able to make any changes in here until you unlock the document. I've done that so that I can keep all of the criteria locked, but not your responses. So it'll ask you to unlock the range that you can edit, and the password to access that is let me in. I have it highlighted here. You can see where my cursor is. It's big L-E-T, big M, little e, big I, little n. And I click OK. Now I can edit things. So if I double click in this box, I can add comments. And you can add comments into that box, but only what will fit in one line will show up. I kept it that way so that we wouldn't have a lot of long comments in each box. Now, in the notes section, you can feel free to create multiple lines if you want to. If you do want to create a multiple line, you need to use Alt and Enter as opposed to just Enter. If you hit just Enter, it'll go to the next cell. So if you want to make several lines, you hit Alt Enter and you keep. Now, as you'll notice, you will still be limited to this box. So when you have comments that are put in there, you need to make sure that you keep it to that box, or else your user will have to open the cell to see what exactly you have that didn't fit in. Generally, your notes shouldn't be so long that that it overflows this notes box. And that's the same for each one. So all I'm asking you to do is to go through each criteria and click yes or no for each one. If it's yes, then it's green. If it's no, it's yellow. Some things you will not address depending on what is going on with their resume. So keep in mind that having a bunch of no's on here does not necessarily reflect that it's not good. It just means that sometimes you haven't addressed it, or that it won't be addressed at all. So keep that in mind. Obviously, if there are some things that you do need to address, like you have a summary statement, if it says no, probably you need to include that or address it. So make sure that you are addressing the things that reasonably need to address if they say no. If they say yes, then you are usually good to go, but that's not a guarantee, because sometimes somebody may select yes on accident, or it may actually not be met and they'll select yes anyways. So you still need to go through and do your own your own review after somebody else does, just to verify their comments and to check on things. Remember, it is your responsibility to turn in a good resume. The person that's reviewing it is just a reviewer and is not responsible for what the final product looks like. So keep that in mind. Now, this is a checklist with 42, I think, criteria. If you meet all the criteria, it'll say 42. Yay, that's good. But a 42 does not mean that it's perfect or anything like that. It's just this checklist. And if you have a number like 35 and you don't have anything else that's relevant, then 35 is a perfect score for you. So the 42 is just a number of criteria here. And when you select yes, then it increments the number up. So using this is not that big of a deal. It's just a checklist. You leave comments and there's some criteria there. When you're reviewing this, put your name. So if I were reviewing somebody else's, I would put my name in here. And then I would put the resume name of the person whose resume I'm reviewing in the resume name box. So that is the checklist. When you're done with that, you can save it and send it back to the individual along with any other comments that you might have. Remember, doing this all through email. So that is the resume peer review assignment. I don't need to go into any more detail, I don't think. If you have individual questions, let me know. Just remember that when you submit this to me for grading, you need to attach the resume that you reviewed, the resume checklist, which you would also send back to the person whose resume you reviewed, and then your resume that's polished based on the feedback you get from your reviewer. And you can access the list of partners in the assignment. And I look forward to seeing your resumes.